Hello, my name is Arethea Brooks, and welcome to my channel here at Essentials to a Journey, where we discuss all things self-care. If this is your first time, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. And I discuss all things self-care here. However, I do have a channel where I discuss a lot of mindset stuff because these are my two areas of expertise, and I'm also just very passionate about self-care and mindset, the way the mind works. So if you're interested in my mindset stuff and you want to know more about that and hear me discuss mindset, you can click the link down below and that will lead you directly over to my mindset channel. So let's go ahead and get into today's topic of discussion, which is our inner world shifting and how we deal with that, how we go about moving when the inside of us, our internal world, is beginning to shift. So this is something that I personally have been dealing with a lot lately. Just noticing that a lot of changes internally are happening, and they're happening at like lightning speed at a pace that I'm not so familiar with. And I'm used to manifesting or creating things quicker, but this is just like super fast, if I can say that. And also there's the whole notion of like everything is happening here and now. There's really no perception of time. And I agree with this 100%. But I do want to just acknowledge it because we do live in a 3D world where time is of importance to a lot of people. So for me, with self-care, getting into how our inner world is shifting. What I mean by this is you may be feeling, you may be shifting into different states of being. So you may be going from one state of being to another. You may be noticing the world around you is changing, and that is also an internal, that is like a prime example of your inner world is often also shifting. And if you are someone that is kind of going through the shifts, going through the motions right now, and the world outside of you is changing, and you also just feel things happening inside of you different or at a different pace or going at a different pace, what I would recommend doing is grounding yourself. I know this is so easier said, and I know a lot of people may be thinking like, oh, that's so simple, like maybe you're someone who is just either skeptic of it or you've been through it and it hasn't worked. But I really would suggest revisiting this if you are experiencing any type of shift, because grounding yourself, what I mean by this is either you can do some earthing, going outside, putting your feet on the ground or the grass and just feeling the earth underneath you. I basically have a earthing mat. So I know in winter seasons, it's spring here, but in the winter seasons, it's a little bit difficult to do so. So you can get an earthing mat and they're easy to find. You can find them on Amazon easily. You want to get a good quality earthing mat, and that's a great way to do it. Another great way to ground yourself is to practice meditation. And this is one thing that I really want to go into, because a lot of people think that there's a specific way of doing meditating. And a lot of people think that, oh, I'm not feeling it, or they feel like they should be having some elevated experience. And that's not what meditation is about. And it's not really what it's for. Yes, that's a great symptom of meditating, like it will put you in elevated states, and once you've done it for an extended period of time, you do start to reach a level of like experiencing the world differently, but that takes time. But people think that when they meditate, they're supposed to change, shift you do shift instantaneously, but they think that something profound, like something so big, is supposed to happen, and that's not the case. Meditation is not even about getting things perfectly. It's not about experiencing something or your world like in a perfect way, and even if you're doing it for months or even years, I've been meditating for well over 10 years. And, sometimes I go in and out of different states. But what meditation is simply to do is to get you grounded and allow you to help to just see the world clearly. Not perfectly, but, in a more clear way. This can be profound it can be on a scale of being profound, and it could also not be. It just depends on how you're looking at it. But I will say meditation is not something that's meant to be done in a way that it's perfect. Like you have to be doing this, or my thoughts should be quieting immediately. That's not how it works. Meditation is about sitting still, sitting quiet with your thoughts. And then from that point, just noticing what's existing inside of you. So if you are having a rampage of thoughts going on inside of you, that's to be noticed. It's to be witnessed by your consciousness. And without judgment, without you judging meditation or judging your practice, just noticing what's there and releasing it and coming back to that stillness, coming back to the present moment where everything is existing as one. So again, meditation is not meant to be perfect. And I can tell you, as somebody who's been practicing for so many years, I still have moments where like my thoughts will drift and I'll be thinking about like a grocery list. And then I have to come back to myself and recenter myself and come back into stillness. And then there are some moments where I'm just, I have lots of anxiety. I'm dealing with a lot of anxiety, and I have to, it's about coming home to myself, being centered, being grounded, and being connected more so with the breath, bearing witness to your breathing, feeling the air where it is taking place within your body when you're inhaling, and also just being mindful of it when you're exhaling. So again, meditation is not about perfection. It's about being grounded, getting centered, and becoming aware. Because when you're aware, that's where the magic happens. So that is something a practice that maybe you want to revisit as a grounding tool as the world inside of you is beginning to shift. Another practice that I would say you may want to be mindful of during or for self-care is whatever you're putting in your body. I would say that is a great way to start with the self-care practice, being mindful of what you're eating. Because when you're mindful of what you're eating, you're also able to, you feel lighter, you feel healthier, and that's if you're making healthier choices with whatever you're ingesting. And this goes for food consumption. This also goes for drinks. So if you are someone who drinks, maybe you have a glass of wine or some alcohol beverage every now and then, you want to be mindful of that. If you are someone who just, you drink sodas, you want to be mindful of your soda consumption and what this is doing to your body, your energy level, the authenticity of the foods that you're eating, regardless of what your diet is. And no shame to any diet. I think whatever works for your genetic, your DNA, your energy, that is what works for you. And if it's giving you life, keep going, keep doing that. Keep eating more of the foods that give you life. And I don't mean just spike your energy. I mean, they fuel you. They fuel your body. They help you to feel a little more energetic, but in a very balanced and healthy way. You're eating foods that are, they are helpful to your immune system. They support your immune system. That is what I mean by food consumption and being mindful of that. So those are 3 tips that I can give you for self-care practicing. Staying grounded, using grounding tools such as an earthing mat, meditating, sound bowl healing. That's also another great tool to use to help you to feel more grounded, and being mindful of what you are putting into your body. So I hope this has helped you in some way, because I feel like right now in the world, we are all going through so much, and we're all so connected. No matter what this world outside of us is telling us, no matter what you're seeing or reading through the media, we are all connected. We may not be the same. We may have different imprints that we've left on the world, and we have different things that we enjoy doing, and a different way of looking at life, but we are all so connected. And if you don't believe me, Think about a time where you thought of somebody and they called you. Or think about a time you asked for something and it showed up immediately. We're all connected. Those are prime examples. So I urge you to, I want to encourage you, not urge you, but encourage you to really think about this and just know that you are not alone if you are shifting, and that there's always help out there for you, regardless of where you are. And if you feel like, even if you feel like there is no help or support, know that there is always help and support. You just have to lean into it and be open and available to it. Help is always on the way. So with this information, I hope you will take care and be kind and gentle to yourself. If you've enjoyed this content, please give it a like, share, and subscribe. Again, if you have not already done so. Again, also, and I mention this in every video that I put out there, that I am either here with short or longer form video content for you on self-care, just depending on what the mood is and what people are asking for. So I hope this has helped you in some way, and until next time, I wish you lots of peace, light, and much love.